All right, here's one of my favorite questions, Stephen, is not even questions, one of my favorite topics is influencers. They can be in a second for some reason and sometimes a lifetime. And um my grandfather was a first influencer for me way back when he used to take me for walks in the park in Montreal. I was born. He's from Kiev and my grandmother's from Kiev and so on. And he met a lot of people. And I asked him once, I said, Zeta, how do you know all these people? And he told me, well, one day I smiled at this guy and he came over to me and smiled at me. And then someone else saw us smiling and laughing. They came over to us and smiled also. And I was five. I said, wow, that's pretty easy to smile at people type of thing. And it's kind of true. These
Yeah.
things do influence people. And so a lot of times we have many influencers in our lives, but can you share two or three that have been influential in your life?
Yeah. Yeah. Two of them is my grandpa. Um, I think that you get some of the genes from your ancestors, right? And I think it's more than just like your skin color and your the shape of your nose. I think it's also the thoughts and the things you think about, what you care about. My grandpa, focusing on environmental publishing for 30 years. My dad and his focus on business, my mom and her focus, getting an MBA in business. I think those three family members really impacted me. As well, my grandma, she's an artist, uh, which part of the design of my company as well.
The
The logo.
grandma that's married to that grandpa?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Just
Jack and Charlene. Yeah,
all right. That's
mhm,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting. We talked about your grandfather, but he seemed to be in the environmental world ahead of most people.
yeah, yeah. Back when he would go to the Pioneers Conference, which is now very big in San Francisco. Um, he was friends of some of the large environmentalists at the time. Um, just was like ahead of the curve, publishing the first book on solar voltaics, the precursor to a solar panel. He's
Mm.
also himself made a bunch of solar cookers. He sent a bunch of solar cookers to Afghanistan in 2008. Um, Sent a
Yeah.
bunch of water purity devices called the WAPI, where it boils to a certain temperature and the wax goes to the other side. So the water is clean. Very useful, simple tool.
So not
Um,
just a publisher, he's just almost like a scientist, if you will.
yeah, yeah. It's just a lot of fun to be in his backyard and in his garden and see all the things that he puts together from like the junk shop that he'll buy a gear and a rock and a clock and all of a sudden make something out of it.
But
And it definitely.
when you described that, for some reason, the movie Chitty Chitty Bang Bang came to mind, where the guy had his whole thing going there, and then one of the things was the car, but he had all the things in his big barn or whatever contraptions working together. So sounds like sounds like
Yeah.
a great influencer. You know what I think people should learn about that is that we actually all influence people knowingly or not knowingly, and it's our choice. Do it, be positive or be negative, and it seems like it's an easy choice to make type of thing because one comment at one great time can actually great things can happen.
Speaking to that topic, my dad has this one line where if I'm ever frustrated, he says, well, did you do the best that you can? And I would say, I might have been 5 or 7 and playing t-ball and been like, yeah, I threw it as hard as I could and swung as best as I could. And he said, well, not much else you could do, right? You can be happy. You did the best that you could. It wasn't about the results. It was about, being really involved in whatever it is I was doing.
No,
Um,
it's brilliant advice, and I've coached a lot of kids, and I've been
yeah.
coached, and you actually have the most fun trying to win by doing your best you can.
Mhm.
And then even if you don't, you did do the best you can.
Mhm.
So he's right on the money. So thanks for sharing that. Good stuff.
Yeah.